I want to preface my answer by saying that there are multiple reasons why children may not log in. It could be lack of access to a device. It could be lack of proper internet access. And of course, it could be lack of proper supervision and understanding in the home. But it underscores the point that we're trying to make, that face-to-face learning is really the best mode to ensure that all of our students receive that adequate level of instruction. And I deliberately told the director, let me answer this question, because I think this is where we need to start to let the rubber meet the road when we talk about vaccinations of our teachers and our students. Because we must recognize that some of the problems that we're experiencing, one of which you just mentioned, there is a way to overcome the problem, and that is to have our children in the school in a safe way.
True.
And the way we have our children in school in a safe way, under the COVID reality with which we're living, is to have our teachers vaccinated or tested if they're coming on the school plant, and to have the students who are eligible to receive a vaccine vaccinated. Because we will have to live with COVID-19 for a long time. Let us not fool ourselves and think that this thing is going to disappear like magic in the air. We have to now find a way to adapt as human beings do to the realities within which we exist. And our reality today is one where COVID-19, a highly contagious, deadly pandemic, has engulfed our planet. And the science has shown very clearly that the best way to survive in this environment is to be vaccinated. So the government has not made it mandatory for persons to be vaccinated. We are giving persons an option. In fact, you have multiple options. You have option A, vaccination, where you have multiple vaccines from which to choose. Or you have option B, to be tested on a regular basis to go on the school plant. We have a responsibility to ensure that there is a safe environment in the schools to the extent that we can. We have a group of persons on the school plant who cannot be vaccinated. The children under 12 years old. Yes. So all the adults and those persons who can be vaccinated must protect these persons who cannot be vaccinated. And so when I hear persons speaking about it is my right to choose to vaccine or not to vaccine, I understand. But we have a right and an obligation to protect the students within this particular space. It is no different, Lamin, than a person who smokes. There are 5 persons in this room right now. Colin may say, well, he smokes a cigarette.
Well, no, there is something else, but I'm not going to mention it right now.
For the purposes of the example, you know.
I see Dr. Brown, I call him Dr. Brown. I usually call him Dr. Brown. I see that he's smiling from ear to ear under the mask there.
But if I can just make the point, one person in this room, well, let me use you, Lamin. You may say, well, I have a right to smoke, and if I want to destroy my lungs, that's my business. It is my right to smoke a cigarette in this room. But the other 4 persons in the room, we have a right to be protected from your secondhand smoke. And so governments across the world have put policies in place to prevent persons from smoking in particular environments. It is a similar example. Or it's a similar situation where we have a right and an obligation to protect persons in particular environments, and in this case, our schools. And so when we put a policy in place where teachers and persons working on a school plant, you must be tested regularly or be vaccinated to come onto the school plant, it is not because we're trying to disenfranchise anyone. It is because we're trying to keep the school facility, the school compound, the school plant as safe as possible, particularly for those persons who cannot protect themselves. And of course, this is with, of course, the physical distancing and the wearing of masks and the sanitizations and so on. So, you know, I'm happy you asked that question, and you gave the example about the parent who, or the teacher who logs on and sees less students coming on every day. Because it is accepted that it simply cannot be a sustainable way for us to educate our children in these times. We must get our children back into the classroom. And the safest way to get them back into the classroom is for as many persons as possible on the school compound to be vaccinated or tested regularly.